Hi, I'm Kat and this is 10 minutes long, and in today's video I'm going to talk a little bit about getting started with the curly girl method. So when I talk to people about the fact that I use the curly girl method, a common question I get is like, do you think it would work for me? Because people like the idea of kind of either having curly hair or not having to attend to it too much, various reasons, but I get asked this quite often. And it can be quite hard to know, like, will it work for me, is it right for me, how do I test it without spending tons of money? Because like generally speaking, when you're starting off with a new thing and you ask people about it, it's like, oh yeah, I use this shampoo that costs £5 a go, or I use these specific tools, or obviously there's a monetary element to it. Like if you want to get involved, you don't want to be rushing out spending like £30 on new stuff and then finding out it doesn't work for you. So in this video I'm going to talk a little bit about how you know whether it's right for you and how you can test it with as little like monetary input as possible. So first off is when your hair is wet, like say you go out in the rain, does your hair get any kind of coil or kink to it at all? If it does, then the chances are the curly girl method will do something for you. How much it'll do for you depends on kind of the state your hair is in, whether it's damaged, dyed, how like do you straighten it, do you use a lot of heat on it. So all of these things will determine kind of how well the method will work for you. But generally speaking, if your hair gets at all a little bit wet and it goes wavy, kinky, coily, whatever you want to call it, if you get a little bit of curl to it when it's wet, then the chances are you can give the method a go and see how much curl have you got in your hair, because that's really the question you want to answer before assessing whether the method's right for you and how deep down that rabbit hole you want to go. The other thing as well is like, is your hair frizzy? Like, do you often fight frizz with your hair, whether you straighten it or not? If you get a lot of frizz in your hair just all the time, then the chances are you've got curly hair, but the frizz is indicating that you're not kind of, caring for your curly hair in the way it wants to be cared for, and so it goes frizzy instead of curly, which is kind of what happened to me. Because I thought my hair was like wavy and just generally frizzy all the time. And then when I started using the curly girl method, I was like, no, okay, well, these are like proper like coils and ringlet type things that I've got going on. So like, it actually was masking quite a lot of natural curl. And now that I deal with it naturally, my hair is like, I would call it curly, whereas before I would have just called it frizzy. So that's the first thing. Like, do you get waves, coils, kinks, or frizz? Then it might well be worth just testing it and seeing. Because that's the other thing, is that you can't really know until you start caring for your hair correctly, or your curly hair in the way that it should be cared for. Then that's when it really reveals like how much kind of curl you actually have. So that's the first thing. When it comes to actually testing it, the method isn't too difficult to use, but what you kind of want to do is settle on a conditioner that has no drying alcohols, no silicone, no SLS. There's all of these kind of chemicals you want to avoid. There's a few that are kind of easy to get hold of, and that's what I would suggest. I would suggest, if you're testing out the method and you think, yeah, I think there's a bit of curl to my hair, I want to test it out, use a shampoo or conditioner that isn't going to cost you a lot of money, so that if it doesn't work out for you, you've not really lost anything. If it does work out for you, then you can go into the process of finding the right one for your hair, because the first one you use might not be the right one. You might go through several until you find one that really works for you. In terms of accessibility, I would say that I recommend personally, if you're just starting out for the very first time, take a look at Sainsbury's own Apple conditioner. Last time I checked, it was curly girl friendly. It costs like 60p a bowl, so it's nice and easy. Like if you buy it and it doesn't work for you, then you've not gone and wasted a lot of money on it. Do double check though, because companies change their ingredients all the time, so you'll need to just double check that it still is curly girl friendly. There is online something called Curlsbot, and it is an excellent tool. It's a free website, and you go in there and you copy and paste all of the ingredients into CurlSpot, and it will tell you immediately if it's curly girl friendly, because I can't remember all of the things that it's supposed to exclude. And with, I'm not a chemist, and with companies including more and more ingredients these days, it's harder to keep on top of. There are some silicones that are fine. There are some, like water-based silicones fine. There are some alcohols that aren't as drying as others. So I always use CurlSpot, and I'll put a link to that down in the description, just in case that is something you want to check out. So start off by using a nice cheap conditioner. If you don't want to buy the Sainsbury's conditioner, you don't have access to Sainsbury's, you can also try Cantu. Cantu, just the ordinary Cantu cream conditioner that is coconut flavoured. It's usually £4 to £5 for a bottle. It's a really nice conditioner anyway, so you could probably just carry on using it even if you've not got curly hair, or you go back to using your old shampoo and stuff. And you can get that from most supermarkets. You can also buy it on Amazon, and there's plenty of other places online you can get it as well. I'm a massive fan of Faith in Nature. That's again not easy to come by, but I think you can get it in Ocado. The other one that I like is Garnier Hair Food, but get the conditioner, not the mask. So Garnier Hair Food comes in like banana flavour, which is really, really good. It's about £3 a bottle, I think. Sometimes it's £6, so get it when it's on offer. So there are plenty of options that you can just grab off the high street that aren't too expensive if you want to get started. Then what I would suggest is kind of follow what is said in the Curly Girl Handbook, which is a book by Lorraine Massey, which is where the method actually, I don't know if it's where it originated from, but it's kind of what a lot of people who follow the Curly Girl method refer to. So what she says is that you do one last wash with an SLS shampoo. So the idea is that moving forward, you won't be using shampoo. It's got SLS in it. It's harsh. It's drying to your hair. And when you've got curly hair, what you need to do is remove the drying elements from your routine and instead put a lot of moisture back into your hair. This is why when you've got curly hair, it can often look greasy, because you need that moisture in your hair. I don't think mine's looking too bad today. It's kind of like, it's shiny. We're on like day 3 after a wash or something, so it's looking pretty good. But it is, towards the end of the week when the frizz starts setting back in, because I only wash mine once a week, so by the end of the week it does look like a mess. But the rest of the time, it might look a little bit greasy because you're trying to put moisture back into your hair. So the idea is you won't be using shampoo going forward. And if you do, it'll be one that doesn't have any SLS in, doesn't have any alcohols in. It's got to be Curly Girl friendly, so it has to be CurlSpot approved. So wash your hair one last time with an SLS shampoo, and that's to remove any sort of final build-up or silicone or anything like that in your hair. Then cover your hair in the Curly Girl friendly conditioner. Leave it in for as long as you can. While you're washing the rest of yourself or whatever, leave it in for a bit. Once you've finished, stick your head upside down over the bath, rinse out the conditioner using like cold water, because the cold water seals the cuticle and makes your hair a bit shinier. I don't know if that's true or not, but it's what I do, and I do find that my hair is shiny, and if I don't do it, my hair is not as shiny. So take away from that what you will. Rinse it, but don't rinse the conditioner fully out. Now, if you've got really wavy, frizzy, curly hair, then it will take more conditioner than if you've got thinner, more sort of just wavy hair. So if you're not sure, rinse out more than not, if you see what I mean. So like, I don't rinse out very much of mine because my hair is quite curly, so it can take a lot of it. Whereas if I was just wavy, I'd probably just not leave as much in. So rinse it, but don't rinse it all out, leave some in. Then put a little bit of your chosen conditioner on your hands, and with your hair upside down in the bath, just scrunch. So you want to grab your hair and scrunch it like that, and you want to scrunch the conditioner in to your hair. We call this squish to condition. So you scrunch it all in, and then either put it in a microfiber turban if you have one. If not, then wrap it up in a t-shirt, and this is called plopping. Look up online, plopping. I would type in something like curly girl plopping with t-shirt or something like that to avoid any of those horrible searches that we all know will happen if you type in plopping. So look that up to learn how to plop with a t-shirt, but it's important that you use either a t-shirt or a microfiber turban, because that will hold your hair up in place while it's drying and will absorb like some extra water. Leave that in for about an hour if you possibly can do, and then take it down and leave your hair to dry naturally for an hour. That is how you start the curly girl method. Do that one time, let it dry, and just see what it looks like. If you're happy with the results, then the curly girl method will only make that better. If you're not happy with it, then it may be not for you.